June 27, 2010, Bloemfontein, South Africa. The city was buzzing with anticipation as fans from across the globe descended upon the Free State Stadium. This was more than just another World Cup fixture. It was a date circled on every football fan's calendar, a clash steeped in history and emotion. The round of 16 at the FIFA World Cup, England versus Germany. Two footballing giants, each with a legacy of triumph and heartbreak, now stood face to face on the world's biggest stage. The stadium was electric, a sea of red, white, and black, with fans from both nations filling the air with tension, hope, and the echoes of old rivalries. Every chant, every flag, every painted face told a story of decades-old competition. This wasn't just a match, it was a renewal of football's fiercest rivalry, with history and pride on the line. Memories of past encounters, from Wembley to Munich, lingered in the minds of players and supporters alike. England's path to this point had been shaky, marked by tense draws and narrow escapes. But now, with the world watching, they faced their old nemesis, determined to rewrite the narrative. Germany, young and dynamic, looked ready to make their mark. Their squad, a blend of youthful energy and tactical discipline, exuded confidence as they prepared for battle. On the sidelines, the managers exchanged glances, each aware that a single decision could tip the balance. The pressure was immense, the stakes higher than ever. The match started at a blistering pace, with both teams eager to seize the initiative. Germany quickly took control, their passing crisp and their movement relentless, testing England's defense from the outset. In the 20th minute, Klose pounced on a long ball, outmuscling the defender and slotting it past the keeper to put Germany ahead. The German fans erupted, their cheers echoing through the stadium. Just 10 minutes later, Podolski doubled the lead with a clinical finish, leaving England reeling and their supporters stunned into silence. The momentum was firmly with Germany. But in the 37th minute, Gerrard's pinpoint cross found Upson, who rose above the defense and headed home to make it 2-1. Suddenly, hope flickered in the hearts of England fans. The stadium erupted with renewed energy. England pressed forward, sensing an opportunity to level the score. Every attack was met with roars from the stands, the momentum shifting as they pressed for an equalizer. The crowd sensed a turning point. Every pass, every tackle, every shot was met with gasps and cheers as the tension reached fever pitch. The stage was set for drama. One moment could change everything. The players knew it, the fans felt it, and the world watched, breathless, waiting for the next twist in this classic rivalry. And that moment was about to arrive, promising to etch itself into football history and the memories of everyone watching in Bloemfontein and beyond. England surged forward, energized by Upson's goal. Lampard, always a threat from distance, found himself with space at the edge of the box. He struck the ball perfectly, dipping, powerful, unstoppable. It crashed off the crossbar, bounced well behind the line, then spun out. Neuer grabbed the ball, but England's players were already celebrating. They'd seen it cross the line. So had millions watching worldwide. Arms raised, they waited for the referee's whistle. But the whistle never came. The referee waved play on, ignoring the protests. The stadium buzzed with disbelief. England's comeback seemed complete, but the goal was never given. The moment that should have changed the match was erased in an instant. Confusion and outrage swept the pitch. England's joy was electric, the stadium erupting in a wave of celebration as players and fans alike believed they had just witnessed a moment of football history. The ball had rocketed towards the goal, and for a split second, time seemed to stand still. The English players threw their arms up in triumph, convinced they had scored a crucial goal that would change the course of the match. But in a stunning twist, the referee refused to award the goal. His whistle signaled not jubilation, but confusion and disbelief. The decision sent shockwaves through the stadium, silencing the cheers and replacing them with gasps and shouts of protest. The German team, sensing an opportunity, wasted no time. They quickly restarted play, taking full advantage of England's stunned reaction. In those crucial seconds, the momentum shifted, and the English players scrambled to regain their composure. English players and coaches surrounded the officials, their faces etched with frustration and disbelief. They pleaded their case, gesturing wildly and demanding an explanation, but the officials remained unmoved, their decision final. In the stands, fans pointed desperately at the big screens, where replays showed the ball had clearly crossed the line. The evidence was undeniable, and the crowd's outrage grew with every replay. Around the world, millions of viewers watching on television saw the truth instantly. Social media exploded with reactions as fans everywhere questioned how such a clear goal could be missed on the sport's biggest stage. Commentators were left speechless, their voices tinged with disbelief and frustration. "How could this happen?" they asked, echoing the thoughts of everyone watching. The sense of injustice was palpable, and the controversy was all anyone could talk about. Almost immediately, the incident was given a name: the ghost goal. Headlines blared, debates raged in pubs and living rooms, and the moment became an instant part of football folklore. Later analysis revealed the officials' view had been completely blocked by a tangle of players in the penalty area. In the chaos, they had just seconds to make a call, and without the benefit of technology, they got it wrong. It was a perfect storm of bad luck, human error, and the limitations of officiating at the time. The referee's uncertainty was clear, but the damage was done. The match continued, but the sense of injustice hung over the pitch like a cloud. England's players struggled to shake off the disappointment, their focus shattered by what had just transpired. This was no marginal call. It was a glaring, unforgettable mistake. The slow-motion replays left no doubt, and the world watched in disbelief as the match went on. The controversy would define the game, sparking debates about fairness, technology, and the very nature of sport for years to come. The spotlight fell on referee Jorge Larionda and his assistant Mauricio Espinosa, two men entrusted with upholding the integrity of the World Cup on football's grandest stage. The world watched as they took their positions, fully aware that every decision would be scrutinized by millions. In a matter of seconds, they made a call that would echo through football history, a split-second judgment with no time to hesitate, no room for doubt. There were no replays, no slow-motion angles, and certainly no technology to lend a helping hand. The fate of the match rested solely on human eyes and instinct. Espinosa would later confess that, in that crucial moment, he simply couldn't see the shot clearly. The angle, the speed, the chaos, it all conspired against him. It wasn't until halftime, away from the roar of the crowd, that the officials began to grasp the magnitude of their error. The dressing room, once a place of routine, became a chamber of dread. Replays left no doubt. The ball had crossed the line. The world outside the pitch saw the truth instantly, while the referees could only watch in disbelief as the evidence mounted. For Larionda and Espinosa, it was a devastating professional blow. The weight of their mistake was immediate and overwhelming, a moment that would haunt their careers and reputations. FIFA acted swiftly, quietly removing both officials from the remainder of the tournament. Their World Cup dreams ended not with a whistle, but with a silent exit. Around the globe, fans saw the truth in seconds. Outrage and disbelief swept through stadiums and living rooms alike as the injustice became clear to all but those who mattered most in that moment. The referees, isolated and unaware, were left in the dark until it was far too late to change anything. The sense of helplessness was crushing. Espinosa's regret was palpable. "It could have happened to anyone, but it was us," he reflected, his words heavy with sorrow and resignation. The incident laid bare the limits of human officiating, especially under the immense pressure and scrutiny of football's biggest stage. It was a turning point, a moment that demanded reflection and change. For Larionda and Espinosa, the World Cup was over, defined not by years of dedication, but by a single, unforgettable mistake that would forever be part of their legacy. The burden of that error would follow them long after the final whistle, a shadow cast over everything they had achieved. The need for change was undeniable. The world demanded answers, and football's leaders could no longer ignore the call for technology. The game had outgrown its old ways. The era of relying solely on human judgment was ending, and a new chapter, one shaped by technology and accountability, was about to begin. At halftime, England's players were consumed by frustration and disbelief. The disallowed goal had robbed them of momentum and a fair contest. In the dressing room, anger and injustice overshadowed tactics. For the referees, the truth hit hard as they saw the replays, an undeniable error on the world stage. The emotional weight was immense. Their dream tournament ended in controversy. The world had seen the truth instantly, but the officials were left to bear the burden alone. The incident highlighted the vulnerability of human judgment in a high-tech era. The halftime break became a moment of painful reckoning. The match and the officials' careers would never be the same. The second half began with England deflated, the injustice of the ghost goal sapping their spirit. Germany, emboldened, played with confidence and precision. England pushed forward, desperate for an equalizer, but left themselves exposed. In the 67th minute, Müller finished a swift counterattack to make it 3-1. Minutes later, Ozil set up Müller for a fourth. England's hopes were crushed. Germany's superiority was clear. The disallowed goal became the match's great what if, but Germany's clinical display left no doubt. The final score 4-1. Germany advanced, England went home, and the controversy raged on. The match was a turning point, not just for the teams, but for football itself. The world demanded answers. The final whistle only intensified the debate. The ghost goal became a symbol of football's refusal to embrace technology. Fans and pundits worldwide demanded change. How could such a clear error stand? FIFA's old arguments about the human element now seemed outdated. The technology to solve this problem already existed in other sports. The pressure on football's leaders was overwhelming. Even FIFA's Sepp Blatter admitted it was time to reconsider. The world was ready for goal line technology. Lampard's ghost goal forced football's hand. The International Football Association board reopened the debate on goal line tech. Resistance faded as public outrage grew. Another high-profile incident at Euro 2012 sealed the deal. In July 2012, goal line technology was approved for use. The Premier League adopted it, and the 2014 World Cup showcased it on the global stage. The system delivered instant, accurate decisions, no more ghost goals. The legacy of Bloemfontein was clear. Technology had changed football forever. The sport had finally caught up with the times. The controversy had sparked real progress. For Frank Lampard, the ghost goal is both a painful memory and a point of pride. His moment of injustice became the catalyst for change. Lampard has spoken about the satisfaction of knowing his experience improved the game. The incident forced football to protect its integrity and embrace technology. Now, every time a referee checks their watch, it's a nod to Lampard's legacy. The ghost goal stands as a turning point, a reminder that progress often comes from pain. Football is fairer now thanks to that moment in Bloemfontein. From controversy, the beautiful game found a better way forward.